Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your favorite farm girl, Onyii Udoye. If this is your first time coming across this channel, thank you so much for stopping. My name is Onyii Udoye, and in here I talk about animal farming, pig and fish especially. I give helpful tips on how to succeed in the business and how to, make money, and also things you need to know, things you need to avoid, everything you need to know about pig and fish farming. Okay, don't hesitate to subscribe, like and share. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always stopping by. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the mistakes most people make in feeding your catfish. Okay, fish feeding mistakes, what you should look out for, what you should avoid, and all of that. So make sure to watch this video to the end. So the first mistake you need to avoid while feeding your catfish is overfeeding. Now please don't overfeed your catfish. Now overfeeding is when you give your catfish too much feed. Let me just put it that way. When you feed them too much, excess, when you give them more than required, that is overfeeding. When you overfeed your catfish, it can pollute the water in the pond. When it pollutes the water in the pond, it could lead to oxygen level reducing, and also when this thing happens, it will increase the level of ammonium compound in the water, and as so doing, it exposes those fishes to all sorts of infections, and before you know it, the fishes will start dropping. That is, your fish will start dying one by one. So please avoid overfeeding. Avoid feeding your catfish too much food. Like, don't give them too much food. I have a video. I'm going to be dropping the link on the screen or in the description box. So just click on it, watch how to feed your catfish. Do you understand? Okay, so please don't feed your catfish too much. Also, when you overfeed your catfish, it leads to wasting of your feed. You'll be wasting feed because that feed you're giving them, you should have given them later when they need it, not when they don't need it. You to just waste the feed, okay? And as you're doing that, you're also wasting money. You're wasting money because if your feed is supposed to stay like 2 weeks, for example, before you know it, you see that your feed is staying 1 week or 5 days, and you'll be buying more feed. Do you understand? So please just avoid overfeeding your catfish. Give them the right proportion of food at the right time. Monitor them, know when they are okay, know when they say I'm okay, I don't want again. Don't give them too much. So please avoid overfeeding your catfish. Okay, so the second one is underfeeding. Please don't underfeed your catfish. Now what is underfeeding? Underfeeding is like giving them a lesser amount of feed. So some people do this because they want to manage costs. They don't want to spend so much. They are doing akagom for their fishes. You understand? Anyway, it's not really akagom, but sometimes I'll call it akagom because you know that this is what they're supposed to eat and you decide not to give it to them. Okay, I understand that feed is now expensive, but doesn't mean you should give your fishes less feed. Besides, you know what you were going into before you decided to go into fish farming. Don't underfeed your catfish just to manage costs. Imagine if fish that is supposed to take at least 7 months to mature, because you're underfeeding them, it will take more than that to get matured. So it's more like you're wasting your time. Do you understand me? It's more like wasting time. So work with the quantity of feed you're giving to your fishes. For example, don't give, for example, you're giving your fishes 2 kg every day. Don't give them, today you give them 2 kg, tomorrow you give them 1 kg. It's not good. Work with what you're giving them. If you want to increase it, which is like as they grow, you're supposed to be increasing, you are going to be watching them. Watch them and know when they need more food. Okay, watch them and know when they need more food, when they want more food. So just watch them closely and you increase it little by little. Okay, watch them closely and increase it little by little. So please don't even think of underfeeding your catfish. It is not good at all. Also, some fishes don't eat the same time you're feeding. Like for example, if you're feeding your catfish now, it's not every fish that eats that time you're feeding your catfish. Some used to eat when others are done eating. You see them, they will come, and those ones are very, very slow. Okay, those ones are, most of the times, those ones are the slower ones, like the ones that you see. If others are very, very big, those ones are, they take time, like they take time to grow. Do you understand? They don't come when others come. So for those ones, if you want to feed them, what you just have to do is, after feeding, when you see that everybody has finished eating, after feeding, just spread little on the pond. Now don't spread too much, because if you do it too much, you might end up polluting the water. So just spread a little of the floating feed on the pond. Those ones will come and pick it later. They will pick it later. So you are just doing it for those slower ones that don't eat when others are eating. So to make sure that they will eat, so they will come back and pick it. Underfeeding can cause irregular growth in fishes, and it will require you every time you'll be sorting it into different pond, because you're underfeeding. So this one will just grow like, they will not have a very definite growth. They will start growing somehow. I don't know how to just explain it, because you're underfeeding them, and to make every time you're sorting, you're looking for the ponds to sort the fishes because of the way they are growing. Do you understand it? So please just avoid underfeeding. And also, underfeeding can lead to cannibalism amongst fishes, and it can also stunt their growth. So that is just one bad thing about underfeeding. So please avoid underfeeding your fishes at all costs. At all costs, don't underfeed your fishes, don't overfeed your fishes. Okay, the third one is feeding with the wrong size of fish feed. Okay, so each particular size of fish requires a particular size of fish feed you give to them for better growth. Now, for example, you can't give a table size fish 1 mm or 2 mm, and you can't give fingerlings 4 mm, because it is not the size of feed they are supposed to eat, and the amount of protein in it doesn't tally with the table size fish. So you have to look for the actual size that has the correct amount of crude protein required. Okay, so know the size of feed you are giving to a particular size of fish. You just have to study it and know. Don't give them wrong feed. Don't give them wrong feed. Avoid it at all costs. So the fourth one is low quality feed, low quality fish feed. Now, some farmers give their fishes, damaged food, leftover food. So some farmers give all these things to their fishes, just to cut costs. And all these things that they give to these fishes, they don't have any nutritional value, and it's not good. It's not good at all. So please give your fishes feed that have the nutritional values that they need to grow. Do you understand? Give your fishes quality feed that is needed for their growth, so that you don't have stunted growth fishes in your farm, and you don't have fishes that are supposed to have grown probably in the last month. They are supposed to have gone to table size, but because of all these feeding mistakes, they are still very tender. They are still almost like fingerlings. Do you understand? So please give your fishes good quality feed, because if you do all these things in process of you want to cut down costs, your fishes might end up not even growing at all. So please give your fishes quality feed. So the fifth one is contaminated feed. Giving your fishes contaminated feed. So you need to be careful of the kind of feed you give to your fishes. You need to be careful of giving them expired feed. Check for the expiring date when you buy feed, because this kind of feed can be harmful to your fishes. It could be harmful to your fishes if you give it to them. Before buying, check for the expiring date. If you've already bought and you did not check, just check for the expiring dates right now on the feed. Okay, check for the expiring dates. Don't give your fishes that kind of expired feed. It might be harmful to them. So an example of this kind of feed is feed that has gotten mold on its body. That has gotten mold, like something like whitish mold on its body. When you see it, just know, in fact, avoid that kind of feed. Okay, so how all these things happen is when you store your feed in a moist place, feed will end up developing mold on it. So that is how you know that it's not okay for your fishes. So that kind of feed, just avoid giving it to your fishes. Don't give it to your fishes. Look for another alternative. Okay, so please be careful. Be careful. So the sixth one is wrong catfish feeding time. Okay, so proper feeding time is necessary and should be put into consideration. There are times the fishes do not eat, so you need to have you need to keep a feeding record, a feeding time record, and follow it. It is necessary. So the times fishes don't eat during cold weather. They don't eat when the pond is dirty, and they don't eat when they are stressed. Okay, they don't eat when they are stressed, but you can adjust the feeding time based on the weather and other activities. Okay, so just take note of these things I just said. So if you've watched this point and you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe, like, and share. Okay, the seventh one is improper method of feeding. You need to know how to feed fish the right way. Now, some farmers consider dispersed feeding of fishes the right way, but to be honest, with dispersed feeding of fishes, it will require the fishes to use more energy to pick the food. It will require more energy for them to use to pick this feed. Okay, with dispersed feeding. That's just my observation. Okay, now for those that don't know what dispersed feeding is like scattering the fishes all over the pond, like scattering it in different direction, in different way, all over the pond. That's dispersed feeding. But if you're going to be using the point of feeding to feed your catfish, it will be good. It is actually very good. With that, you're going to know if they are eating well, you're going to know how they are eating, you're going to know when they are done eating. Do you understand? You're going to know when they are done eating to help you monitor them more, and they will spend less energy to feed. With this fast feeding, they will just eat small, before you know it, they'll be tired, because if it's just like running around looking for food. But if you're using a particular point of feeding to feed them, they already know where you're going to come and feed them. They'll just go there, start picking the food, and when they are okay, they'll just go. But with this fast feeding, it's just like running in circles, running around to pick. Before they even pick like 5 or 6 or 7, they are tired. But with just a point of feeding, they are one place, you're dropping the food, they are picking it. Less energy, less stress. And it will help you avoid food wastage. This with feeding them at a particular point. So avoid this fast feeding. Avoid dispersed feeding, please. Know how to feed your fishes. I will still say it again. Go back to my previous videos. I dropped the link in the bio on how to feed your catfish. Watch that video. It is really helpful. It will show you how to feed your catfishes. Just in case you don't know what dispersed feeding is, come, let me show you.
So this is what dispersed feeding looks like. Okay, so dispersed feeding to me is not really a great way to feed your catfish. Now, why did I say so? With dispersed feeding, they are burning more energy to feed. Okay, because they are looking for food everywhere. But if you're feeding them at a point, you'll be able to monitor them if they are feeding at all. You'll also be able to monitor, if it's time for sorting, whether if it's time for sorting. You also be able to monitor when they are okay, when they are full, when they are okay. Okay, when they are okay. That is why feeding at a point is better than dispersed feeding. And with feeding at a point, they also burn less energy to feed. But with dispersed feeding, they are everywhere, and they are they are burning much energy. That energy they are supposed to use to grow, they are using it to feed. Okay, so dispersed feeding is not really a great idea, or it's not a great way to feed your catfish. Feeding at a point is okay.
So the last point, that's the last but not the least, is Inconsistent method of feeding. Now, inconsistent method of feeding, most people do this a lot just to save costs. And like I said, it's really nobody's fault, but just know that it's not good. Okay, before you go into fish farming, know what you are going into. Know that this is pure business. Okay, just prepare yourself before going into fish farming. Okay, prepare yourself before going into fish farming. Don't carry what you can't manage. Okay, don't carry what you cannot manage. Okay, so not feeding them at all just to save costs. Like for example, you feed them today, you don't feed them tomorrow, or you feed them once a day and the next day you don't feed them. It is not good at all. It is not good at all. Just because you're saving costs, it is not good. Please avoid it, because with this, it would make your fishes, they will not grow properly. If your fish are supposed to take 6 months, 7 months to grow, before you know it, it will take 1 year plus. Okay, and with that said, you will be having mortality in the pond, because catfishes are cannibalistic in nature. They eat themselves, so before you know it, the ones that are hungry, they will prey on the weaker ones, and if you're supposed to harvest 1,000, you end up harvesting 500 or even 400 if care is not taken. So please avoid this improper method of feeding, inconsistent method of feeding. Please avoid it. Avoid it with everything you can. Okay, because if you don't do it, you will just spend more money on, probably you're supposed to feed them with so amount. You're going to spend more money feeding them and more time. You waste time and waste more money feeding them, and you don't want that. Please just avoid inconsistent method of feeding your catfish, please. Okay, so I hope with these points that I've brought out, with this major point that I've brought out in the mistakes most farmers make in catfish feeding, you have taken note of them. For those that want to go into this business, or that are yet to start, or that just started, you have taken note of them. Please make sure you just avoid it. If you want to succeed in this business, avoid it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching to this point. If you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe, like and share. And if this is your first time stopping, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop your comments in the comment sections. Share your points, share your views. If you feel like there is something that you think I didn't say here that please drop it in the comment section. Let everybody see, let everybody learn, okay, from it. Okay, so I'll be ending this video here. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.